Alright, episode 62, and the weather's getting hot, so I'm gonna have to speed through this as much as I can because I need my AC immediately. So, we are still catching up with the new DLC, and today the mighty bighorn sheep is on the list. Scientifically known as Ovis canadensis, nothing special there, it's just maple syrup flavored sheep. Being the only other sheep species in the Americas, it shouldn't be confused with the Dall sheep, which we already discussed in a video. The bighorn is more numerous and wider reaching, being found throughout the Rocky Mountains, from British Columbia to Baja California. This mountain climber has become a staple for any area it remains. Now, there are three subspecies that exist, all based on their location. The Rocky Mountain bighorn, which takes the northern half of their range, the desert bighorn, which takes the southern, and also the Sierra Nevada, found in, you guessed it, LA. Now, the name bighorn should be obvious, but let's break it down. The average bighorn weighs roughly 315 pounds. Their horns can weigh up to 30 pounds alone. So, of course, these bighorns are for showing off and kicking ass, but as someone with TBIs, how does this beast literally go head-to-head in a way that would put the NFL to shame? I mean, I got hit in the head once, and now I can't fucking read. What do they have that I don't, huh? Turns out a lot. Wild sheep have sutures and concave structures in their skull that help mitigate the shockwave, along with thick muscles in the neck to protect the spine, plus the keratin sheath over the horns really help absorb the blow. Now, a natural marvel like this may leave you with the question, how did the Rocky Mountain Royal Rumbler get here? Well, where better to start than the beginning? And by beginning, I mean the middle. East. The Middle East. 410,000 years ago, what we'd consider domestic sheep split from the wild sheep. Since wild sheep prefer rocky terrain, they moved from the Zagros in Iran to the Alay, to the Altai, all the way to the Stanovoy and the Kolyma in Russia. It wasn't until 16,500 years ago when the landmass that we all know and love, Beringia, came along. And this would allow the Rocky sheep to find the promised land of the Rocky Mountains. Just like the Mormons, they made their way up north down into the wonderful state of Utah, and some of them even decided to go a little further into their current native lands. And as the desert bighorn, having the native lands being, well, the desert, like the Mojave, I decided in this exhibit to make a desert environment, mostly because the Dall sheep has the snowy mountain, and I kind of wanted something different. I didn't want to just make another mountain. But anyway, getting off track, back to it. From that point, finding their way into the Rocky Mountains, their population would boom to literal millions. The sheer grit, strength, and hardiness would then become a massive part of Native American culture, especially the nations of the Shoshone and the Appalooka, better known as the Crow people. Bighorns were actually one of the key animals in the latter's culture, and there is no better way to show this than telling you the story of Big Metal. In the early days of the Crow settlement of the area, now known as Montana, a boy and his stepfather were out hunting along a mighty river inside of a canyon. As the boy peered over the edge of the cliff, his stepfather, being a massive dick, pushed the boy over the edge. Thinking he was done with the child, like Alex Jones, he went home and told the tribe that since the boy had tried to go home and, make his way back earlier, he must have been kidnapped by another tribe. No kidding. Luckily for the boy, he had fallen into a patch of cedar trees. Unfortunately, while he did survive, he was completely stuck and had no way out. And it wouldn't be until the 4th day of being stuck in those trees did he get rescued. A group of 7 bighorn sheep had eventually got him down from the cedars and back to the tribe. The chief of the Bighorns, known as Big Metal, then declared that, and I quote, "This river shall be known as Bighorn, and should the name Bighorn ever leave the water, the Crow people shall be no more." Now, seeing that the Crow are one of the few surviving tribes in America, it seems there's some merit, and you can go see the Bighorn River today in Montana. As for the Shoshone, there was an entire tribe known as the Sheep Eaters. This tribe was known for making bows from the horns of bighorn sheep. Now, I would love to know how they did that, because as an amateur archer, I know how a bow is supposed to work. I don't know how in the hell they used something that curved and that stiff to make a bow. I didn't find a video on it, and I would love to. If you know one, please link it in the comments. Anyway, back to the animal at hand. And, as with many stories, with the cultural beauty of these wonderful animals, they would soon be under attack by the white man. In 1793, the Canadians had crossed the Rocky Mountains, and in 1804, Lewis and Clark explored it. The population at the time of 200,000 bighorns dropped to a few thousand in less than a century. While the population had already been in decline from disease and hunting after the Columbian Exchange, direct interaction from the Anglosphere had essentially speed-run the extinction of these animals. Luckily, once again, Teddy Roosevelt comes to save the day with national parks and conservation programs. These efforts had continued into the 20th century and even influenced Andy Warhol to add the bighorn to his endangered species paintings in 1983. Luckily, by the 21st century, the bighorn is considered least concerned and has become well represented as the provincial animal of Alberta, Canada, and the state animal of both Colorado and Nevada. I know, right? It's very rare that we get a good ending. But there are still issues that they have to deal with the changing ecosystem, logging, the destruction of habitat, and hunting. For the most part, this is a safe animal. Thank God. And so, with all that said and done, thank you very much for watching. If you liked it, please leave a like, share, and subscribe. You know how to do this. You've probably been on YouTube for years by now. And until next time, go outside, touch grass, drink water, hug your loved ones, and bye-bye.